Johara. Welcome back to my channel. So, I'm going to do the review for the final book in the last series, Escape from the Isle of the Lost. So, this book is in between Descendants 2 and 3, and Uma actually finds a crack in the really under, like she swims really deep, and down there the barrier is weaker, and she was able to squeeze through into Hades' lair, and they form an alliance because since she could squeeze through, magic can see through as well. And so they were able to use magic to do what they need, but only a little bit, because only a little bit could get through. But while that was happening, the Evie is designing everyone's caps and gowns. Mel has this whole itinerary where she has to visit a bunch of these kingdoms because she's seen so little of Auradon, but she's going to be the future queen. And her and Ben decide that Isle of Lost should be on it because that's where she's from, and that she wants to remember. My bookmark's still in here. I put it in there because I finished it in the car, and so I just put my bookmark in the book. But they decided that it'd be best if that because the Isle of Lost is still their people as well, and they want to be there for them. Carlos has been hanging out with Jane a lot because they're dating now, and Jay was still doing a lot of turning and roar, so he was meeting with a bunch of people to see what his future would be like. He met with the coach from an Agrabah University and a coach from the Merriman University or something, with Robin Hood and all of them. And he also met with Lonnie's older brother, who insisted that he should skip college and go straight to the pros because he has what it takes. So he had a lot of thinking to do for his future. They all do, since they're about to graduate. They even did this little scavenger hunt, because like for seniors they do a whole lot of things for them, like senior scavenger hunt, senior feast, this and that. So yeah, but before them realized that no one was in front of the Isle was applying for their whole Auradon, for their whole plan where they take villain kids and bring them to Auradon Prep, and but the only one that applied was Dizzy. No surprise there. So the four of them decide that they need to go to the Isle to show everyone how amazing Auradon is, and to show them that you could change and be good. So they do that, and everyone was terrified of Mel at first and thought it was just like a trap or something, that this wasn't even real. But they were hanging out their little hideout, which, if you remember from Descendants 2, it showed their little hideout. That's the place where Mel was hanging out when they went to go find her and bring her back from the Isle to Auradon. Well, that's where they were staying. And Dr. Facilier asked if he helped them convince students to apply, then they'll accept Celia. And they said they will consider her application. And so yeah, but things go awry when all of a sudden Mel seems to be in a daze, and a lot of what happens to her you can see in that little Under the Sea short with her and Uma. Everything that happened on there is happening to Mel now. She saw what's going on, where she heard her dad. She saw Dizzy, Harry, and Gail, who were all speaking with Uma's voice. And so yeah, And then she ends up jumping into the sea, and she is drawn to this door as well, just like in that little short. And so Carlos, Jay, and Evie all realize that she's gone, so they have to find her. And they follow footprints and eventually found her, but it was already too late. She had already jumped into the dock, or off the dock into the water. And Jay wasted no time. He ran because he kind of blamed himself. He's like, I know the people can, I know they can take care of themselves, but I'm supposed to protect them. You know, he always see him and Mel always consider each other the protectors of the group. You know, Mel's the leader. They all have this role. Mel's the leader. Jay's the protector. You know, so yeah. So Jay wasted no time, ran and jumped off the edge without skipping a beat. He just ran there, but there's this like school of fish that was blocking him, and he couldn't find Mel. It's like she just disappeared. So Mel had to fight Uma, while Jay, Carlos, and Evie decided the best way to find Mel was if they go to their to Evie's mother's magic mirror, because there was a little magic seeping in, because they figured that's the only way all of this could be happening. So maybe it was enough for her to tap in a little bit into her mother's old magic. So they went there. Luckily, her mother was gone. So Evie, so they all found Mel through the magic mirror and were screaming for her to not open that door, because that's at the point where they found her. And so Evie ends up jumping through, and halfway through I think it was, and she ends up grabbing, like pushing Mel out of the way. And before all this, I totally missed part, but while all this is going down, before all that was going down, they went to like a bunch of old professors asking them to hand out applications, and had this whole round table meeting, but only a few of the more troubled students went, only because their professors were making them. And I also trained off. And they ended up not liking it at all, and they were like, no, just no. They didn't like the idea of Ordon at all. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Evie pushed Mel out of the way, and Mel was able to escape because of it. But then Uma ends up grabbing Evie. So Carlos grabs Evie's legs, and Jay grabs Carlos. And Uma was strong, but they were stronger, so they were able to pull Evie to safety. And luckily, Mel had gotten away. But then they realized that they were soaking wet because they were technically just underwater. But they all of a sudden forgot what was going on, what was happening, why they were. Oh, and I also forgot to mention before this, they did meet Celia, and Celia read Evie's fortune, saying that there was going to be great danger in her future. And then she ends up finding out that there really is danger coming, but she didn't think she tried to warn them, but she didn't think they took her seriously. So while all this was going on, she went to Hades' cave, because she's gets errands for him, and she notices something and is off. So she decides to tap into that magic as well to stop it, and she contacts her shadow. And first she had to read her own fortune, because she was like, and she had to learn that she was capable of helping, because at first she didn't think she was, because she's just, but she's like, she is Facilier's daughter, she can do this. So she talked to her shadow and was able to do some sort of spell to close the creeks that was, and made the barrier strong again, even as far down as they were. And then, Evie, Carlos, and Jay, Jay had no idea what had happened. It's like they completely forgot. Uma was starting to forget as well, and so did Mel. So, they all reunited. We're happy they were all saved, the 4 BKs, and then they realized that they were playing this wrong. If they wanted villains to join, and they had to first get them to apply and then join, and then get them to realize that they can change their ways. Because when the four VKs first went to Ordon, they had all these intentions about, destroying Ordon. But then they found things or people in Ordon that they loved, and they didn't want to destroy that anymore. So they decided that they needed to appeal to the villain's strength and get them to want to apply by saying by hosting VK Day, where that every villain who gets accepted will become famous, and then they end up leaving. They spoke to Celia, and Celia told Evie that her fortune didn't mean danger, it only meant change. And Evie was like, well, I am about to graduate, which means a lot of change. And she got all happy that her fortune was coming true, that she was actually right about something. And they left, and then Dr. Facilier told everyone about the VK Day, and that made everyone want to start to apply. And then they were back at Ordon, and they graduated. And Ben and Mel both had the chance to speak, obviously, because a lot of them. Carlos is actually a year younger than them, so he's a junior. But the three of them got awards. Mel was the most improved. I forgot what Evie's was, but Jace was best athlete. What was Evie's? I forgot what Evie's was. I don't remember. But, oh, here. I actually found it. I didn't think I was going to find it. The award for diligence goes to none other than Evie. Okay, that's it. So, yeah. So, Evie got, the diligence award. Jay got best athlete, and Mel got, most improved. And then Ben had a speech, Mel had her speech, and she explained how Carlos and Jane were filming everything, and Ben had helped them hook it up to the Isle of Law so they could show the kids that this is what happens if you go to Ordon Prep and change your life for the better. So that's exactly what they did. And Mel did the speech about how when she first came to Ordon, she expelled Ben and tried to take Fairy Godmother's wand, but then she realized how amazing everything there is, and how beautiful and good, and how it's changed her life and changed her friends' lives, and she is so glad she ended up going there. And so, yeah. And Evie ended up, because of all the caps and gowns she was making for everyone, she ended up getting enough money to find her own place, which we saw in Descendants 3, her own tiny castle. And so yeah, she was able to get her own place, and they were, what happened at the end, because I'm drawing a blank now. So at the end, they were talking about, so they all graduated, they were all talking, and they said that they will always be there for each other even though things are changing. Jay got into the university that he most wanted, which was the Merryman one, because he decided he didn't want to go to college because he honestly never thought he would be able to get a chance or have his own future. And even though I can definitely see Jay playing pro someday, he was to college first, which is something he never thought he'd say. But yeah, so he ends up, he decided, so no pro, at least not yet, and he decided he didn't want to go to the Agrabah because he didn't want to live in his father's, shadow, because of everything his father did there. So Jay decided that, but when he went on, because he actually went on tour with Robin Hood's son to the Merryman one. I don't remember what it's called, but I just say Merryman for now. But and he decided he really liked it there. So and there was another one that had offered Jay a scholarship or something, MIT, but he was like, that's too academics, and he's not big on that. So yeah, he ended up getting it, so that's good. And then Evie decided that she's gonna. I don't think Evie never mentioned if she's going to college. She wants to just expand her fashion business. And Mel is going to be doing queenly duties alongside Ben. So they all know what they're going to do. Carlos is going to go to school for another year and then graduate, and then who knows what he's going to do. For one, I can tell you he's going to want to go to college. I know Carlos. He's going to want to go to college. And I can see him going somewhere like MIT because he's intelligent. But yeah, so, and then they were always all talking, and they were like, VKDA is coming up, and they're always going to be there for each other no matter where life takes them in the future. They're always going to be there for each other, always. So yeah, it ended pretty sweet, and I loved it. And yeah, so I rated 5 out of 5 stars, and I definitely highly recommend it. If you like the Disney Descendants movies, I highly suggest this series. You have to start from the beginning to the end, because they coincide with the movies. It goes Isle of Lost, Descendants, Return to Isle of Lost, Rise of the Isle of Lost, Descendants 2, Escape from the Isle of Lost, and Descendants 3. That's how it goes. So, yeah. But I do highly recommend it for anyone who likes the Descendants movies. This gives you more of a clue on, like, my favorite is the first one, because I love seeing them and how they were before, and how they actually all got together in the first place, how they all became friends and practically family, because it was based before Descendants. And so yeah, and I love the series, and I do highly recommend it for anyone who do like the movies. Then you might want to give this a try, because I say it's worth it. You get a little hints about each of the characters from before the movies and in between the movies. So yeah. So that's all for this video. Please like and subscribe and comment your thoughts of the book. If you read it, if you want to read it, if you like the movies, then I do highly recommend it. And you can follow me on Twitter, Goodreads, and Bookstagram as Secret Books. And that'll be all. I'll talk to you guys later.